Alrighty. So in this section, what we're going to be discussing is JavaScript variable scoping. This may or may not be a topic that you are already familiar with, but this section is all about diving deep into how JavaScript as a language deals with variable scopes. And it's okay if you don't know what scoping is. We're going to be describing in great detail what they are, how to create them, when they are created, when they're not created, how to avoid globals, how to work with closures, and function callbacks, and all of that fun stuff. So, let's go ahead and get started. In this video, I want to kind of to give you guys an idea of where I'm going with this and what I mean by scoping, maybe an intuitive idea of what the section is about, and particularly an issue I am quite absolutely certain every single one of you has ran into in the past. I want to show a basic example, a bit of code that's not going to do what we want it to do. But again, it's something that I'm sure you've done something similar in the past, and you might have resolved the issue, you might have not resolved the issue, you might have resolved the issue, but not really understood why that solution actually was a solution. So let's go ahead and get started. Over here, I'm going to open up my command prompt, and I'm going to do live-server, and that'll open up on a different monitor because we can't have nice things. And then I'm going to move this over here, and then I'm going to open up our index01. So I'm going to open up, I'm actually going to open up the HTML file first. And I'm going to go ahead and add a UL element. So I'm going to do UL, and it's going to have an ID of people-list. So all it is it's an empty UL element with an ID of people list. And what we're going to do in this example is we are going to populate this people list with from an array of people string objects. And we're going to create HTML elements within a loop. And then we're going to add event listeners to those HTML elements. And we're going to notice some surprising behavior. Well, it may or may not be surprising to you. But let's go ahead and open up our console and verify that people list is indeed created. So let's open up our JavaScript file. Remember, this is the JavaScript file that's being referenced in our script tag. And we can remove that. And I'm going to go ahead and prefix this with example1. And then I'm going to create an array. I'm going to say var people equals, and whoops, that is absolutely not what I wanted to do. Go away. I wanted to do that. I'm going to create an array of strings. So you might have an array of strings. You have a person named Nelson, a person named Boo, Bar, and Baz. Why not? So you have an array, and what I want to do with this array is I want to populate this UL with li elements, child elements. So you guys might have run into this issue if you wrote, like, let's say, an image gallery where you populated a list from JavaScript, maybe from an AJAX request, and you wanted to add click handlers or something to that. So the first step is we need to get a reference of our list elements. So I'm going to say var list equals document get element by ID, and we'll do people-list. So now this variable list points to this element in our HTML. And then I'm going to open up a loop. I want to loop over all of the people in this list. So I'm going to say for var I equals 0, I smaller than people length, I plus plus. And inside of this, inside of each iteration of the loop, I want to do basically four things. I want to extract the person out of the people array. So I want to say var person equals people at I. So now this var person variable points to the current person that we're iterating over. And then I want to say var element equals document.create element li. Now, of course, creating an element with document.create element doesn't add it to our page, but it does create that element so we can manipulate it. And then I'm going to say element.innerText equals person. Then I'm going to put a to-do here. Then at the end, I'm going to say list.append child element. So very straightforward. We now have, as you can see on the left-hand side, we now have a dynamically created LI or UL with all these individual people. So you might have gotten this data again from an AJAX request, a database request, a JSON file, whatever, and now we've turned those into elements. But what if I wanted something to happen when I clicked on one of those people? Well, we would add a click handler. Maybe one of the only ways you guys have seen adding a click handler from JavaScript might have been something like element.onClick equals function, right? That's actually not a preferred way to add a click handler. Instead, we're going to use the better way, which is element.addEventListener, passing in click as the event we want to listen on, and then passing in a function that'll be called back whenever we clicked on that person. And what I want to do here is I want to say alert, you clicked on plus person, comma, at index plus I. So as you see, we are adding an event listener, and whenever we click on the people, this function, or one of the people, this function will be called. And notice how we're capturing these variables, person and I, from the outside of the loop. So what do you think the output of this program would be when I click on one of the people? And again, this is a very, very, very common issue that that gets ran into all the time. Obviously, not necessarily this example, but things like it. And you might already know where I'm going with this. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on foo, and it says you clicked on Baz at index 4. That's weird. Click on Nelson. You clicked on Baz at index 4. Huh. Click on Bar. You clicked on Baz at index 4. You click on Baz. Wow. See, a broken clock is right twice a day. You clicked on Baz at index 4. So as you see, no matter what person we click on, we're only getting the last person saying that we've clicked on it. And that's kind of a bizarre issue. And there's multiple ways to resolve this problem, but throughout the next couple of videos, what we're going to do is I'm going to really describe what this problem is, why scoping works the way it does inside of JavaScript, because this is a scoping issue. When you run into a problem like this, you might have a couple hacks that you might already be aware of, even if you don't really understand what's going on, you know how to fix it. We're going to take a step back in the next couple of videos, and we're going to discuss exactly what this behavior is and why it's happening. Why is it not allowing us to get notified that the correct person was clicked on? And that's the motivation of this section. And there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff, including closures and all that fun stuff later as well. And with that, I guess we will see you guys in the next video.